Bad news for the National Football League. Check this out.
On April 19th of this year, Aaron Hernandez was found hanging in a cell from the Souza Baranowski Correctional Facility. Subsequent to his death, we had a heated battle with the Suffolk County Medical Examiner's Office for the brain of Aaron Hernandez so that it could be studied by the Boston University CTE Center. We have submitted his brain for testing and to determine if Aaron had suffered from chronic traumatic encephalopathy, also known as CTE. Prior to announcing anything, I'd like to thank Dr. Ann McKee and her entire team for all of the hard work that they have done and the professionalism for which they've shown us. The results of Aaron Hernandez's tests were positive. Aaron suffered from a severe case of CTE. Not only were the results positive, but we're told that it was the most severe case they had ever seen in for someone of Aaron's age. Aaron Hernandez had an advanced stage 3 of CTE, which is usually found in the median age of a 67-year-old man. I will say, for lawyers representing athletes of contact sports, that this is something you should definitely consider having your clients take some of the presumptive tests that are available. It's something that we considered as a team, but did not pursue it, simply because his defense was one of actual innocence and not one of mitigation. It's something I deeply regret. Today we're also announcing that my team has filed a federal lawsuit suing the NFL and the New England Patriots on behalf of Aaron Hernandez's daughter, AVL Hernandez. That lawsuit was filed this afternoon and will be made available to everyone afterwards.
Wow, that is shocking, and for these reasons. First of all, CTE in the public eye was thought to happen to football players later in life. Aaron Hernandez played 3 seasons for the New England Patriots, and prior to that, he played all of his entire college life at the University of Florida, starting tight end. He played prior to that in high school football. So the question before us is, when did CTE start to develop in Aaron Hernandez's head, and how can this terrible, terrible occurrence not happen to football players now and into the future, if football is to survive as a sport? Because absent some type of resolution of this problem, more and more players will retire from football. More and more potential players will avoid the sport altogether. The sport has to change, without question. The other question is, how do we get here? When I was growing up, the idea that someone played football and got what we now call concussed was referred to as getting his bell rung. And it was always considered to be nothing so serious. You go back in and play again, just shake off the, quote, cobwebs, unquote, right? But what I believe has happened since that time of the 60s, the 70s, and the early 80s is that football players, thanks to all kinds of, let's face it, this is what they are regardless of whether they're legal or illegal, performance-enhancing drugs and improvements in nutrition, have become bigger, stronger, and faster. In some cases, by unbelievable comparisons. There's football players today that can, in one bound, jump over a small car. That was unheard of in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. It wasn't until we got into the 90s, and of course the aughts in the 21st century, where such abilities have become commonplace. But what does that translate into? It means that you have a player, a human being, that can hit another human being harder than ever before. So that while the muscles may be more capable of producing incredible performances, the brain and the bones are the same. So at some point, something had to give. And it seems to me we've reached that point. Something has given. Not only that, NFL uniform design has not changed appreciably, or arguably at all, with respect to these dramatic improvements in human body performance. Helmets are the same. Pads are the same. The only adjustment there was the addition of something called the flak jacket for quarterbacks to protect their ribs. That's pretty much it. Now there's talk of a new type of helmet that actually gives and absorbs the impact before it gets to the brain. Something that it would seem to me is at least a decade, if not two, too late. And even then, it should be applied for every NFL player, and not just every NFL player, every Pee Wee football player, every junior high school, and college player. Because otherwise, we're going to have more and more instances of situations like the one Aaron Hernandez faced. I'm not saying that it brings back Odin Lloyd. I'm not saying it's the reason why Odin Lloyd lost his life. But clearly, it has something to do with it. We have to say that, as well as having something to do with his suicide in jail. Sad story. Stay tuned to Zenny62.